There are, I'm sure, a number of realizations that we all need to have collectively in order for the human species to progress. One of these ideas, in my opinion, is that morality has nothing to do with religion. I say this, and I think it's important for two reasons. Number one, because there are plenty of non-religious people who are not raping and pillaging and thieving their way through life. And I think we should be defended. That, just because someone is not religious does not mean that they're completely amoral. In fact, that's always confused me. I mean, for people who believe that you need God to tell you what to do that's right or wrong, otherwise you don't know, do you really think that if God didn't tell you that killing people was wrong, you'd just be out murdering every day, that we'd all be serial killers, that we'd all be rapists, that we'd all be just, complete amoral hacks? I mean, I can't believe that codes in a book are the only reason that you behave decently towards other people. That's never made sense to me. But anyway, the second reason is because this idea that there is even such thing as a divine mandate on morality justifies, or is one of the things that justifies, holy wars. And not just that, I mean, you've got people that will kill each other, quote, in the name of God and that sort of thing, and that's horrible. But it all goes down the scale too, that, just being a self-righteous jerk, being presumptuous and looking down on others, presuming that you're better than someone else because of your religious moral code, is a moral corruption, in my opinion. Because it's a moral corruption. Let's just put it that way. So, if morality doesn't need a divine mandate, where does it come from? My answer, my opinion, is that it comes from the fusion of logic and compassion. So, for example, we've all experienced pain, to some extent. I mean, some relatively little and some way more than others, but we at least understand the concept of what pain and suffering is, and presumably that it's something you want to avoid. So, if you feel like it would be painful or to be avoided to be stolen from, to be physically harmed, to be killed, to be maliciously lied to or maliciously lied about, if those are things that you don't want happening to you, then logically, other people probably don't want that to happen to them either, because they can also have those sorts of experiences. And also with, people's tendency towards retribution being what it is, logically, if you don't want people to harm you, it's better not to harm other people. It'll make it less likely that others will harm you. So, again, logic and compassion working together. Another issue is this idea of forgiveness, which all you have to do in order to have a healthy sense of forgiveness is just recognize your own screw-ups. Recognize that we've all made stupid mistakes. We've all done things that have either accidentally hurt others or that have hurt others because we were immature or because we were being too emotional or because we were being selfish. There's so many things. We all have areas of our lives in which we have screwed up. There are no exceptions to this that I know of. Everybody makes mistakes. And that knowledge hopefully can inspire in us a sense that, okay, this other person screwed up. And if they admit that they were wrong about it, if they actually work to make amends, if they try to correct what's wrong, if they try to not do the crappy behavior that they've done before, then you have forgiveness, you have understanding, you have less road rage. I mean, you can recognize, like, okay, that guy cut me off. Well, there was that one other time I cut somebody off while I was driving, so it's a jerky thing to do, but it's not worth getting worked up over. You can let it go. And everything runs just a little more smoothly. Now, when I say forgiveness, of course, in the moral or emotional sense, that's one thing. That does not mean that I don't believe that people should be punished for what they do that's wrong. especially when you get to the societal level. You know, you've got to have that sense of justice that keeps things running smoothly, that protects people against arbitrary harm from others. Um, and that's a good thing. It's again, it's a common sense thing. It's so part of who we are already that there's no question of, you know, oh, how would we ever construct a society based on these philosophies? No, we already our society is already based on these philosophies, and it has been for ages. Just basic sense of fairness and compassion. That is morality, and it doesn't require uh, authority from above to tell you that. We all, even as little kids, can recognize the difference between behavior that's fair and behavior that's unfair. So, why should there need to be a divine mandate on morality for it to be legitimate? I don't understand that. So, logic and compassion, creating justice, having society work smoothly, having us all treat each other decently, us all treat each other either as we deserve or better, never worse than whatever we deserve. Just never treating people worse than they deserve. If we could even achieve that, that would be, you know, as a culture, as a society, as the human race, one of the most magnificent transformations of the way the world gets run. If just people didn't treat each other worse than they deserve, just took that one factor out, we would progress so far socially, ethically, and probably technologically even, and just in so many other ways. It would clear the way for so many improvements. But now I'm getting into rambling and blah blah blah. So, anyway, so what do you think of logic and compassion as the basis of morality rather than divine mandate? And do you agree that a presumption of divine mandate in your belief system, believing that your belief system is, you know, comes from on high, is that a morally corrupting factor in interpersonal relationships, in international relationships, in social relationships between different religions, you know, whatever? What is your opinion?